Hey everyone, it's Throwback Tuesday, and I thought we would throw it back, way back. So I'm here at the gym. It's way after hours. I think it's like 10 o'clock or maybe after. And sometimes I just like to come here actually when the gym is empty and everybody's gone, and I listen to some really soothing music. I actually was just painting some handstand push-up lines, but wanted to take a moment to just reflect back on 11 years. So this is a little chat designed for our members, past members, future members, or anybody who just wants to listen along. So Throwback Tuesday, how did this all start? How did High Gear come to be? I thought I would just tell you guys that story. So I guess we can start way back in 2012 when Tom and I were actually doing CrossFit at a place called Advanced Performance CrossFit in Wadsworth. And we were having a really good time. It's, just a fun group of people. In fact, several of our members were there at the time. Of course, Kurt Myers, and I could name lots of them. And so that was way back when. And I guess in 2015, we just kind of felt a calling to start our own venture. And we took a step of faith to do something that was unknown, and it took a big risk. And with home equity loans and credit cards, we started a business, and we had no idea where it was going to go. We were very hopeful that people would show up when we opened the doors. We had a lot of connections with people, and we went to a little suite on Beach Road and the Belle Soul strip there, and we leased a space that was 1,800 square feet. And we walked in and we just thought it was ginormous. So to give you guys perspective, our main room at the gym is over 7,000. So we walked in and we were like, oh my goodness, this is it, and at the time it was nothing. It was a brand new building, but it was just, concrete floors and white walls. And so we started that process in June of 2015 of getting everything ready, and we opened in August. So it happened pretty quickly, and we were excited. We did it. We opened High Gear with a vision of, we knew we wanted it to be more than a gym. We knew that we wanted it to be a place where people felt connected. We wanted it to be a place where people grew, not just physically, but emotionally, socially, spiritually. We wanted it to be something special, a place that no matter what kind of day you had, you could come to High Gear and you could have a good time for an hour. And there's something about mutual suffering, right? We all understand it because we're CrossFitters and we've been doing this for a long time, and we like to suffer together, right? And that builds community. And so we had experienced that, and we knew the power of community through suffering together. And so we embarked on this journey to create this, and immediately, we felt that God had his hand on High Gear. People came from everywhere. People that we, of course, never knew, some people that we knew, and we grew, very, very fast. This was back in 2015, first week of August. So here we are 11 years later. And, over the years, we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of changes. I remember maybe it was a year after we moved in, we started leasing another 900 square feet. And we just thought we hit the jackpot when we were at that extra 900. So then we were, at 2,400 square feet or something like that, 2,700. And it was great, and we always had, tons of people helping us put it together, and it was just always such a tight knit community. And we believed in our vision. We believed that God was doing something special. And we saw from the very beginning, like, friendships that still are so strong today, right? Marriages, like people like getting to know each other and getting married, and then kids, I think about my son Eli at that time. He would have just been like 9 years old. And now he's an adult, and so we just had the privilege of like growing up together in so many ways. But it's always been about being more than a gym. It's always been that. And we've had fun along the way, of course, with competitions, and we've done some pretty big ones, right? We hosted some pretty big ones, of course, Buckeye Games. And I remember our first Chalk It Up. Guys, we had 400 athletes sign up. We might have gotten in trouble with the fire department on that one. But it was great. Like, we created like so many memories, and we were always willing to think outside the box, right? We're always willing to take a risk and to do something new, something that maybe somebody hadn't done before. And then during those times too, we had the privilege of competing at some pretty big things like Granite Games, and of course, the CrossFit Open, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, the Masters, and we hosted myriads of competitions, including competitions at Goodyear Hall. Many of you would remember those. Chalk It Up, Cupid's Revenge, Spring Fling, Buckeye Games. Gosh, so many. And we just loved every aspect of community, right? Of hanging out with each other, of being together. And this community has always been one that has accepted challenges and has had big dreams. And we were in that building until at the end of 2018. Well, I would say during 2018, we had outgrown it. So we were looking for our own space. Some of you would remember we actually bought a house on 18. It's actually where Pro Touch Detailing is now. That was our property. There was a house there, pretty dilapidated house that we knew we had to tear down, and we were going to build our facility, and everything was ready. Like, we had the builder, we had the blueprints, we had the permits. We were days away from breaking ground. And I don't know, something just didn't sit well with me. Like, you know how it is when you start building something. It just, all of a sudden, we needed a fire pond, and then we needed this, and then we needed that. And what was supposed to be like a pole building ended up turning into this crazy project. And I think, like, we both were like, gosh, is this the right thing to do? Like, maybe there's another solution. And so I guess we started like asking ourselves that question, like literally at the 11th hour, of this thing. And I remember praying about it and just really asking the Lord to like guide our steps, because we have always asked the Lord to guide our steps here at High Gear, and He's done that. He's been so faithful to us. And I went on LoopNet. This was on a Saturday. And I found this property. It was called at the time Gasco. And they made gaskets, and they sent them like all over the world. So they were here. There were like little stations set up and people counting gaskets. And, several people worked here, but you could tell that like the business wasn't going well. They were getting ready to shut down. So I found this property on a Saturday. It wasn't far from my house, from where I was living. So I came and I started snooping through in the windows, with my phone, and I'm sending videos to Tom and Anna, and I'm like, guys, look at this. And I'm excited. I'm like, this is it. I think we need to abandon ship over there on 18, and I think this is our building. And I could barely like sleep. I was just waiting for Monday to come, right? Because I needed to, come in here and make an offer. And that's what was my plan. So Monday morning, very first thing, I knocked on the door. A receptionist was here, and I said, "Would you mind if I just take a look through your building?" "Well, do you have a realtor?" No, but let me just take a look. And she's like, "Well, you need to be with a realtor." I said, "Ma'am, I will be right back." And I came right in, and I looked around real quick. I did a quick buzz around the building. I'm like, this is it. And I had an offer ready, and I gave her, I found the realtor, whatever. We worked through that, and within minutes we had submitted an offer for full asking price, because we believed this was the place for us. So yeah, that was like November of 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And then January of 2019, we were moving in here. And I remember showing people the place for the first time before we had made any renovations, right? We brought a bunch of people, and I'm like, "Guys, just imagine this." And some people got it, but I think most everybody was very skeptical of the whole idea, like, "Oh my goodness, what did we get ourselves into?" And I'm like, imagine instead of all of this machinery, there's bikes and there's barbells, and we paint the ceiling, we put up siding, we do this, we do that. And I don't know, several of you remember this. Several of you were like, Heidi has really lost it now. And a lot of you, were also excited. And when we moved in, guys, you guys remember, this was like a cold January day. It was so cold, it was snowing. And of course, if you've ever moved one of these mats, it's 90 pounds. And how many mats did we have? So many. But it was such a beautiful team effort, right? We moved into this building, guys, and we got this was crazy, mind-blowing, the entire renovation done. Everything in 42 days. Like, we renovated the building ourselves, put in new flooring. We demoed walls and took down electric and just all kinds of stuff. Of course, we had to have commercial electrician and commercial plumbing, but we did so much demo, right, ourselves, and everybody got membership credit, remember? So yeah, it was just a really fun time. And so anyway, so here we are now, and we lived through COVID. Let's not forget that. Oh my goodness, how could we forget? That was, of course, what a nightmare. We were shut down, right? We had no choice. We were shut down, and we lent out all of our equipment. And I remember one day coming here, and I was so sad because there were no people. I mean, I had all the machinery. I had stuff I could work out, I could turn on the music, but I just remember getting on the runner and just like crying, like, because it's like, this is so sad. Nobody's here. I came in the next day, and the next day somehow birds had been trapped in here. I think maybe it was a couple days. And I came in, and there were like dead birds on the ground. It was awful. It was like a scene out of a horror movie. And I just remember crying and just being like, this is awful. But just, we just prayed. We kept the faith, we prayed through it. You guys as members were so supportive. Like, nobody canceled their membership. You guys believed in us. We did everything we could, right? We did nutrition challenges. We did scavenger hunts. We did clusters where everybody had our equipment out there. And we just were hopeful that the equipment would come back at the end of it. And it did. And we survived COVID. And we came back feeling so grateful that we had community, Because we had fitness. We could fitness in our basements. We could fitness in our driveways, but we really miss community, right? And so here we are, guys. Just High Gear has just meant so much to all of us in 11 years. And we're finding ourselves in a place now where we're reinventing ourselves one more time, right? Where CrossFit has changed. We all know that. High rocks is a big thing, so we're embracing that. We're embracing opportunities with having, other friends in our building. With Elevate being here, what a wonderful addition, wrestling, jujitsu, and now a coffee house. And, pretty soon we're going to have some suites that are going to be up for rent. And we're just like, we've always been about the vision of bringing people together to make people better, right? And to have friendships and to have bonds. That has never changed. And so it might look a little different. Hey, I guess I went crazy and we painted this whole place. We just needed a change. But the vision, guys, is still the same. So here we are, 11 years later, after hours with Heidi. And I'm just grateful to all of you. So grateful to Tom and Anna, to my husband, Jeff, and my family, who has been so supportive of this endeavor for 11 years. Tom and Anna have been just the best partners. We have worked so well together, and I know that's not normally the case for business partners, and we're just very, very grateful that God has brought us together like that. And I'm so grateful for all of our coaches. Like, we have had coaches that have been with us since day one. They believed in us even before we had a building. And I don't take any of that for granted. Grateful for every single member that has come through this door. And I guess I'm just here to say, this is our story. I have more to say. We'll do an after hours with Heidi about where we are now, where we're going. I think that would be fun to chat about. But for today, it's Throwback Tuesday, and we're throwing it back. All right, love you guys. Take care. Have a good night.